Hello there, very good evening and welcome to our primetime news bulletin. I'm Shane Silva.
And I'm Nicola De Souza. We start off with a look at our top stories.
Arjuna Mahendran and State Minister received PTL money. Gotabaya Rajapaksa registered Mihin Lanka as a private company. Commission reveals. Mangala challenges former president to public debate. Maharagama Urban Council in turmoil as opposition objects to 6 new appointments. Mervyn called for Jayaraj Fernandapulle murder investigation expedited.
On to your stories in detail. Now, it has now been revealed that W.M. Mendes and Company Limited had made payments to the tune of 3.2 million rupees via cheques on 3 separate occasions to fugitive former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran. Newsfirst.lk Farzan reports.
Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda said the payments have been made for the settlement of personal purchases made by Arjuna Mahendran using the unlimited credit card that was issued to him. It was disclosed in court Mahendran's secretary at the Central Bank, Amila Dhanayaka, had given the cheques to an office assistant to encash them. It was also disclosed in court a state minister had been given 3 cheques on 3 separate occasions, all worth 1 million rupees each. One of those cheques was issued on the 31st of March 2016, the day another controversial treasury bond auction had taken place. The Attorney General's department said the elections coordinator of the state minister in question and the stance he maintains over the matter is being investigated. The beneficial owner of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, Arjun Aloysius, and its CEO Kasun Palisena were further remanded until the 21st of June. A very good evening, and we at Newsfirst have been following the central bank treasury bond scam since 2015, and we've been bringing to you more and more details as they are presented to court, that is the 4th Magistrates Court. Now today in court, Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda informed the magistrate that the Singapore branch of Interpol had informed the CID that according to the Singapore domestic law, they cannot arrest Arjuna Mahendran with the red notice that has been issued. Now, however, Yasantha Kodagoda went on to say why the red notice was important. He noted that in order to extradite fugitive former Central Bank Governor Arjuna Mahendran to Sri Lanka, it is imperative that they have or they possess a red notice issued on Arjuna Mahendran from Interpol. Yasantha Kodagoda also went on to note that they are already drafting the necessary documentation for the extradition of Arjuna Mahendran. Now, also in court today, the 4th Magistrate rejected the submission that was made by the Defence Counsel for Arjun Aloysius to appear on behalf of Perpetual Treasuries Limited, which is also listed as a suspect in the case that is being taken up. In addition, now Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda informed court that they are yet to receive a response from the Director General of the Inland Revenue Department with regard to the transactions and documents on assets and liabilities with regard to Perpetual Treasuries Limited. Now, another highlight or revelation that was made at the 4th Magistrates Court today was that 3 cheques were given to Arjuna Mahendran from W.M. Mendes and Company Limited. Now, these 3 cheques are from 3 different dates. That's the 18th of January 2016, 26th of April 2016, and 17th of May 2016. Now, these cheques were given to the secretary of the former Central Bank Governor named Amila Dhanayaka, and she had given these cheques to an office assistant to be encashed, and he had bought the cash back. Now, when Amila Dhanayaka had been questioned by the CID, she had said that these payments were used to settle the personal or private purchases made by Arjuna Mahendran using the unlimited credit card that was issued to him. Now, when this fact was presented to court, Additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodagoda went on to note, now they have uncovered one section of the money trail following the central bank bond scam. That is the money from the EPF, goes to Perpetual Treasuries Limited, goes to W.M. Mendes and Company Limited, and finally, according to his words, the money comes back to the governor's doorstep. So according to him, they have now uncovered a certain section of the money trail following the bond scam. Now, on the previous court date, an MP was highlighted, saying that he had received a check of 1 million rupees from one of the companies in the Perpetual Group. Now, this MP, the CID has made attempts to contact this MP and ask him to come and give a statement. And however, though the previous attempts were futile, he has now agreed to come and give a statement on Monday. In addition to that, today in court, a state minister was exposed for taking 3 million rupees in checks, 3 different checks of 1 million rupees each. Now, the state minister's name was not mentioned in open court, but we believe in the coming days his name will be in public domain. In addition to that, now it has also come to light that an employee of Certis Lanka, which was also mentioned in court previously, has been deployed at W.M. Mendes and Company on a permanent basis to engage in the encashing service that has been provided by them. Now today, the additional Solicitor General Yasantha Kodawada went on to note that the office premises of Perpetual Capital Holdings, Perpetual Capital and Perpetual Asset Management were subject to inspections. However, he said that there was no indication that these offices were in fact functioning. He went on to note that investigations are continuing to ascertain if these companies are in fact shelf companies. Now we at Newsfirst are prepared to bring you all the details as and when they are exposed before the fourth magistrate. It's back to the news studio.
Speaker Karu Jayasuriya made a statement in Parliament today that reports claiming parliamentarians accepted money from Perpetual Treasuries Limited are false. Several opposition MPs also raised questions in this regard.
The astounding and untrue statements which are being made have severely tarnished the credibility of Parliament, the members of Parliament and the country in general. I kindly request all accepted media institutions to stop insulting the members of Parliament as well as prominent personalities in the civil society by levelling baseless allegations citing fabricated details of 118 MPs accepting bribes and going beyond that to increase that number to 166. I have requested the Secretary to the President to hand over all documents in the Bond Commission report. So the moment he returns to the island, these documents will be handed over with the assistance of the Attorney General and the Inspector General of Police. I have informed all relevant units that there is no list of MPs who accepted money or any other list. With certain MPs making statements in the media that affidavits will be given, a public opinion concerning an unnecessary and false act is being created in the country. Regardless of what people may say, we have to be true to our conscience. If such matters have been reported concerning the bond issue, the police have been informed to take immediate action. Thereby, I call on the parties, including the media, to act responsibly at this point of time.
166 checks have been exchanged through the account of Arjun Aloysius. Then, who received these checks? When will section C1 to C349 of the report be tabled in Parliament? I humbly propose that you summon the Secretary to the President to Parliament and give MPs the opportunity to question what this report is, what is the status of it, what has been sent and what is the Attorney General's recommendation.
අපිට ජනාධිපති ලේකම්වරයාත් එක්ක මේක සාකච්ඡා කිරීම සඳහා ඔබතුමා නිලධාරීන් කැඳවන්න කියන යෝජනාව මගේ තියෙන බොහොම ස්තුතියි කතා.
I don't personally believe he would hide something intentionally. I will check and see if we can get the opportunity with him. It is my duty as well to protect the dignity of MPs.
You say there is no such report, but now the people do not know whom to believe.
Get this report to this chamber because the damage caused recently affected all the MPs. The biggest suspicion we have is that a majority involved in this are from the joint opposition. That is the issue here.
If these investigations have been completed, we urge that legal action be taken against those involved rather than hiding this information. These people have to be punished. This is why this government came into power. So while finding the crimes of the previous government, it is essential that legal action be taken and punishments be handed to those found guilty in the investigations carried out during this government. Who are the 118 who took money from the central bank bond scam? Because certain social media platforms have acted irresponsibly here, the people are beginning to look in suspicion at MPs who have no connection to this whatsoever. So it is imperative that may it be the 118 or the 218 MPs who accepted money, those names have to be revealed. We make a request in this regard from the Speaker. The 16 members of the Sri Lanka Freedom Party who defected from the government convened a media briefing in Colombo today. Even I am looking for the contact number of these truth seekers to call them, because these telephone calls and payments happened during the time of the bond issue. But I very clearly state then that I did not accept any money from Arjuna Aloysius's perpetual treasuries. I said I did not accept any checks.
Arjuna Aloysius ගෙන් මම මුදල් අරගෙන නැහැ කියලා චෙක් පතක් මම ඕකින් අරගෙන නැහැ කියලා. මේක මම බොහොම පැහැදිලිව කිව්වා. ඒකවල ඉවත්යේ අභියෝගයක් පිළිගන්නවා මේ ප්‍රකාශ ලබා දෙන්න කියලා. අයි මේ ඔබතුමාලා 16 දෙනාට තාම බැරි වෙලා තියෙන්නේ දියුණු ප්‍රකාශයක් ලබා දෙන්න. නෑ දියුණු ප්‍රකාශය ලබා දෙන්න.
To give an affidavit, they can't prove whether or not I received money. They can only prove it when they get hold of the check. Anyone can give an affidavit saying they did not take money. Now, do these notes say they are from Arjuna Aloysius? Which is why I said UNP MPs have received 1.5 and 2 million rupees for their election campaigns. Has anyone spoken about the source where the money came from? Now they say money was given through a journalist called Mahesh Senanayaka. This is Aloysius's money, but they are not through checks. So anyone can say they did not take money.
It has come to light the application for the incorporation of Mihin Lanka Private Limited was presented by its founding director, former Secretary of Defence Gotabaya Rajapaksa. This was revealed at the Presidential Commission investigating Sri Lankan Airlines, Sri Lankan Catering Limited and Mihin Lanka Private Limited. Newsfirst's Zulfiq Farzan, who is following the investigations, filed this report.
Indika Gunawardana, a representative of the Department of Registrar of Companies, provided evidence before the Commission at the BMICH today. He said the application for incorporation of Mihin Lanka Private Limited was submitted on the 25th of October 2006. However, the Registrar of Companies had made a minute on the document citing defects. On the document, SS Consultants and Corporate Services Private Limited is recorded as the company secretary of Mihin Lanka. The witness, after perusing the documents, identified Gotabaya Rajapaksa as the individual who had presented the application as director, and he is also listed as the declarant. Despite the defects, according to the evidence, the certificate of incorporation was issued on the 27th of October 2006. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Dr. P.V. Jayasundara, former Air Force Commander Roshan Gunathilaka and former MP Sajin Diwas Gunawardana have been listed as the first 4 directors of Mihin Lanka. It was revealed today, according to the Articles of Association, the minimum number of directors need to be 5. However, that number was only 4. According to the witness, Gotabaya Rajapaksa's name is not mentioned in the company records after 2008. It was disclosed from 2006 to June 27, 2014. The Lanka Putra Bank and the Treasury had invested 14.4 billion rupees in Mihin Lanka Private Limited. Earlier at the Commission, it was revealed from 2006 to 2018, Mihin Lanka Private Limited had incurred a loss of 17 billion rupees with liabilities amounting to over 10 billion rupees. During the first 6 months of 2016, Mihin Lanka Private Limited incurred a loss of 181 million rupees.
Former Minister Mervyn Silva spoke on the murder of former Minister Jayaraj Fernandopulle while addressing a media briefing today.
That is still a secret, one secret. Jayaraj Fernandopulle was a very popular character in Gampaha. At the time, he had a conflict with the Rajapaksas. He was a friend of mine. There is still no proper story behind it. What to do? The current government is all talk. They must do something about it. They must punish. Nothing is happening. Basil Rajapaksa had the biggest threat from Fernandopulle. We do not know where this went. They need to investigate this. Hand this over to me for 1 month. I will investigate it.
Today's sitting of the Maharagama Urban Council ended in scuffles. The situation escalated when the opposition expressed their objections to the appointment of 6 members from the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna. While the nomination list presented by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna to the Maharagama Urban Council was rejected at the recently concluded local government polls, the party backed the candidates from Independent Group 2, who contested under the motorbicycle symbol. However, it was later revealed that all members of the winning party, barring 2, were residents of other localities. When the inaugural session of the council took place on the 4th of April, Thiraj Lakruwan Piyaratna of the independent group was elected mayor of Maharagama. Following these developments, 6 members of the independent group resigned, making way for 6 members of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna to take their place. The group, including former Mayor Kanti Kodikara, was sworn in at the residence of former President Mahinda Rajapaksa, after which they arrived at the Urban Council. Apart from Kanti Kodikara, Chitrani Sugathapala, Revati Mangalika Sigera, Savitri Gunasekara, Dinethri Kiara Jayasekara and Inoka Anuradha were nominated on behalf of the Podujana Peramuna. The Western Province Chief Minister Isura Devapriya was in attendance at the event. However, the United National Party raised objections, citing that the appointments were not made in the right manner, leading to an uneasy situation when a few opposition members attempted to meet the chairman of the council.
They went to Badalgama and said that they will give 150,000. They removed 18 people and gave only 25,000, a short-sleeved shirt and a sari. They promised studded bangles and necklaces. They come to the restaurant, eat fried rice and take fried rice for the whole family. They go and give the kids money, asking them to keep it. You can't do politics like that. We cannot be beaten out of this council, especially me. If I am assaulted, that problem will be taken care of in 1 hour. Don't be scared. I will walk anywhere in this council. That is why I try to break into the chairman's council. If he doesn't open up, I will break in. We let him carry this council on for 2 months as he is an innocent young boy. But he is listening to the ticks and now trying to sleep among them.
While the police got involved to contain the situation, the chairman's group agreed to open the office rooms under the protection of the police. While the proceedings of the council did eventually begin, it is reported that the council was postponed following persistent objections from the opposition.
This objection comes up because I do what I say. This kind of threat comes because we do not succumb to their money and their threats. There are always obstacles for people who do the right things. The Elections Commissioner has gone against the mandate of the people to go and appoint individuals who are beyond the reserve list. But at the time, he said that if they are to resign, the whole list must resign. They can only be appointed one by one. According to Clause 5 of 65A of the Local Government Act, if any appointment is made in addition to this, it must be on the whims of the subject minister. Without any of this, they have made decisions as per the Elections Commission.
If female representatives who were elected resign, female representatives from the list have to be appointed. Once that is done, if they too resign, the leader of the independent group has the authority to appoint someone from outside the list. It is based on that authority that 6 people have been appointed since the members who were appointed from the list have resigned.
Minister Partali Champika Ranawaka has withdrawn the case filed at the Colombo District Court against the Maubima newspaper demanding compensation of 1.5 billion rupees.
Minister Partali Champika Ranawaka had filed the case alleging that his character was defamed by 2 articles published on the Maubima newspaper during the election period. Thereafter, the Maubima newspaper issued a counterclaim challenging Minister Partali Champika Ranawaka's action. Attorney at law representing the minister today informed court that his client does not wish to continue with the case and thereby requested for permission to withdraw it. Accordingly, Colombo District Court Judge Pamela Ratnayaka granted permission for the case to be withdrawn. Thereafter, President's counsel Romesh De Silva, appearing on behalf of the Maubima newspaper, withdrew the counterclaim filed by his client. Minister Patali Champikaranavaka was represented by Attorney at Law MC Jaratna, while President's counsel Romesh De Silva and Sugat Caldera represented the Maubima newspaper.
Chief Minister of the Northern Province C.V. Vigneswaran has called for a solution for political problems in order that export and infrastructure development can take place in the former conflict areas. The Northern Province Chief Minister was speaking at an event today to declare open the office of the Export Development Board in the Northern Province in Chundikulli, Jaffna.
The national program to nurture 2,000 new entrepreneurs to become exporters during the period extending up to 2020 is laudable, provided the North and East are recognized as areas which are agitated for their legitimate rights for the past 70 years and have so far failed to achieve their target. We will not cease to agitate for our rights, and there lies the negative background to this venture. The point I am making is that we need export development, we need infrastructure development, we need to encourage domestic enterprises which could enter the global market. But are these possible except in a limited way without our political problems being brought to an end? As Chief Minister, I do not want to paint a bleak picture, but I am conscious of the negatives we face in this war-torn region where the political settlement has not been effected yet.
The Sri Lankan rupee hit an all-time low against the US dollar on import dollar demand, with the selling price reaching 160.0069 rupees during morning hours of the day.
The Sri Lankan rupee fell a new low of 158.85 against the US dollar on demand from importers, with the selling price reaching 160.0069 during morning hours of the day. The buying rate was recorded at 156.91 according to central bank data. According to the central bank, the currency has depreciated around 3.4% so far this year. The central bank said the pressure on the currency is unwarranted as gross external reserves are at 9.1 billion USD and the real effective exchange rate indexes indicate that the currency is competitive.
In other local stories, Minister Lakshman Kiriyala today responded to allegations made by environmentalists claiming lands in the Knuckles Forest Reserve are to be given to investors.
There are lands on these estates that have no cultivation. We showed this to some investors and received requests from them to have investments made in these areas. Approval has not been given for any investment in the Knuckles Forest Reserve. We invited Sajiva Chamikara for this press briefing. We asked him to send a representative at least. Nobody is here yet.
Environmentalists say that part of the Knuckles reserves are being handed over to associates of you and Minister Kabir Hashim. They said they will prove it with evidence.
Show us where this has happened. Not with facts. There are no facts to claim certain areas were given. There is nothing about this. Nothing to say.
Not done yet, but no point in talking after it is done. Don't you remember Wilpatu?
We called the press conference today on the Knuckles Reserve, not about every problem in the country.
Minister, this is the reserve. Nothing has happened yet. The fact that nothing has happened in the reserve is technically correct. This is a very sensitive environment. Do you recall the joint cabinet paper?
You didn't come. We have not started any project in the forest or anywhere else.
Now when you look at this cabinet paper,
those are only suggestions, just suggestions. Nothing is happening in the reserve. Nothing has happened.
Minister, you haven't done anything, is it?
Nothing has been done. I will have to teach all of you Sinhalese.
Environmentalists say this is going to happen. Don't get so angry.
Even though environmentalists say they have to mention that it is happening here or there, you can't just say things. How can you say that?
The most important officials, the wildlife conservation officials, haven't been brought here today, Minister.
We told them, but they haven't showed up.
You're saying they haven't come in spite of Mr. Kiriala's request? My question is still valid. Don't leave, Minister. Let's clear the issue.
We do apologize for that technical difficulty, but of course you can follow that story on our website www.newsfirst.lk.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's primetime news. Thank you for joining us. For the Newsfirst team, I'm Nicola De Zoiza.
And I'm Shen Silva. Take care and good night.